Hey, everybody, welcome to NHL Nightly. I'm your host, Jeremiah Maxwell. With me, as always, Pearlo Wisdom. No Rico. It's his wife's birthday. He's out having fun with his wife. And the Degenerate Bostonian will be on, I think, next week. I don't know. We'll have to see what's going on with him. I didn't hear back from Mike, so I don't think he's coming on. So you just got me and Pearlo. Pearlo, what games did you watch early? Anything stick out in your head?
I watched
Obi
that
got
game
another goal.
bet on with the Sabres, and they did pull it out. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Boy.
that game. I watched the Florida Capitals game, of course, and I had the Capitals. Yep. God, they came through for me there. That was a great game. That's the one I wanted to watch tonight, and it was a good game.
I was on it, and we got word out of that game too. Craig Lachlan, Locker, he's the color guy for Monumental Sports. He's done the Capital games for, I don't know, 30 years or whatever, him and Joe B. It's been a long time. He had successful heart surgery, so that's good. Hopefully he's back soon. Nothing against Alan May, but Locker, successful surgery.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was finally tuned into that game. Obi scores with 0.1 seconds left to get the empty netter to make it 6-3. He's 17 away from passing Gretzky. It's happening. It's happening this year with a broken leg. I mean, it's happening, and everybody's like, oh, it's not a distraction. The Caps are winning or in every game they're in. And I'll tell you what, man, start looking at Alexei Prodos's numbers. He scored his 22nd goal. He has 30 assists. He's a plus 30 player. He needs to be given some consideration for the Selke. He's been all over the ice for the Caps. Been unbelievable. We talked about Dubois and his defensive numbers. I really think Prodas has a little bit of an argument to make with the voters, man. He's been unreal. They told that guy to work on his fitness and raise his game. Yeah, buzzer beater, Big Willie. So, I was going to rant about the Vancouver Canucks, and I didn't know for their fans, on behalf of their fans, I was going to, Nucks fan, you're in here, go Canucks, go. I feel like they just have made some poor decisions here. And now I hear they're going to move Carson Soucy. We had that on the thing. We were going to talk about maybe Mario Ferraro gets traded. If his name's getting brought up, then there's smoke, So although it does not make any sense to me that Mike Greer would make that trade. That guy's 26. He's a great defensive defenseman. He's one of the guys you want to build your team around. From what I hear, he's a great locker room guy, all the interviews I've seen and stuff. So, but if I'm a Vancouver Canucks fan, I'm irritated. But do we want to jump into the games, or do you want to hear the Canucks rant, Pearlo?
I'll hear the Canucks rant.
Okay, so this is going to be brief. I think the return they got for Miller was not good. I think they should have kept Miller and traded Pettersson. I think if you're Alvin and Rutherford, your time is to win now anyway. What are you doing trading trade the younger player? You'll get more back. For one, you'll free up more cap space. Clearly, he was liked in that locker room. The fans loved him. So you make that trade. Then you flip the pick to get Pettersson. Okay, I saw Mike Rupp say he thinks he's top 5 defenseman in the league. Don't know if I lost respect for Mike Rupp, but he's not. I think he's probably a 6 or a 5 on a Stanley Cup team. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's nothing special. He's kind of milquetoast. And I just feel like, what are you doing? Like, you needed to make a move. You should have made the move a long time ago. By the way, these were extensions they signed in the first place. So it's like buyer's remorse instantaneously. If I'm a Canucks fan, I'm demanding some action. It looks like they're going to move Soucy, but like that was a big free agent acquisition for them. I actually, for the record, thought that was a good signing by them. I thought Soucy was really good with Seattle, like really good. But I don't know, man. Hackstall had them boys playing a different level of defensive game. And it's showing, too, because they're just not as good this year. It's because they're not as good defensively. So, Brandon Colson has a question for us, Pearlo. He says, do you think the Kings make a trade? I do think they make a trade, but I don't think it's going to be for anything major unless there's smoke with this Brandt Clark stuff, which I just think would be so insanely stupid for them to trade him. So I do think they'll make a trade, though. I think they'll try to add a guy. Maybe with Columbus now having the injuries, they consider selling off a few pieces. Might not be the worst thing to happen to. Yeah, so HTH chimes in. He says, I think Marcus Pettersson is really good number 4 or 5 on a cup team. He's a 4 or 5 on Colorado, Edmonton, Florida. Okay, yeah, fair. Yeah. I mean, I trust your evaluation of good defensive hockey at the defensive position, John. So I can't disagree. I just, maybe it's just Pittsburgh they've been better as of late too. Obviously, he's not playing with them anymore, but I don't think it hurts to have defensive depth. So to me, that I'm not as annoyed about that move. But if you traded the first round pick, you better have an extension. There's just other things that need to be said. So a sick fireplace. Oh yeah, Pearlo, he likes your somebody in the chat, Arc Michael Fitness likes your fireplace. Your backdrop.
I'm listening with LA there. I don't see them making a major move. I don't see where they can fit in a major move there. They've got their roster now.
Are you talking about LA?
Yeah, I think LA, like their roster. They get depth. They'll get some depth and forward or whatever, but I don't see
LA has about $1.3 million in cap space right now. So depending on what they moved out. Now, we did talk about Fiala this last time not scoring. I think he's got like 4 in his last 4. Oh, by the way, St. Louis just went up on Edmonton 2-1. Colton Parenko is your thing. Flames are up 1-0 too, I believe, right? Is that correct? Here, let me just go through your scores, guys. Islanders beat the Golden Knights. Holy hell, man. Horvat Saad scores for the Golden Knights, his first, and Brock Nelson. Well, the Islanders are going to stick around so they can't trade anybody, right? We talked about the Caps Panthers game. Great game, 6-3. It was a much closer game than 2 empty netters. Kachuk had a nasty goal to make it within 1. Devils went 3-2 in a shootout. Lightning beat the Senators 4-3. That was a good game. I watched a lot of that one. Sabres 3-2. Blue Jackets climbed back into it, but we kind of predicted with the Blue Jackets missing their top goal scorer, man. Tough. Bruins win 3-0. I believe it was a 2-0 game. You got to give it to the Wild, but they've just had stuff not going their way. I still think the Wild are a playoff team. Bruins might climb back into it, much to the dismay of their fans. Canadian Sharks. That game has not puck dropped. And Stars Ducks, that game is not puck dropped. Red Wings Kraken, the puck is about to drop. Avalanche Vancouver, the puck has dropped. We're a minute in there. Flyers are up 1-0 midway, just at the start of the second period against the Utah Hockey Club. Rodrigo A-Balls, his first of the year. A-Balls? I don't know how to say A-B-O-L-S. I do not know who that guy is. I guess the Flyers have some openings for their AHL guys because, they traded Farabee and Frost. Flames, Matt Cardano. What's Matt Cardano's background? Daryl Sutter. We got Daryl Sutter in the chat. That's awesome. Daryl Sutter. Jets are beating the Hurricanes 2-0, 15:25 left. I have that game right on above me. As I said, the Blues just went ahead with a Colton Parenko goal. Kyrou scored the other one. McDavid, by the way, Kyrou 23 goals, quietly having a really nice season. No one's talking about him. So those are your goals. We still have 2 games that really have not started. 4 if you want to count Avalanche, Red Wings, Kraken, Stars, Ducks, and Canadian Sharks pucks have not even dropped. So I feel bad for Rick talking to Daryl Sutter. The real Daryl Sutter is an Oilers fan. Okay, Phil. Okay. Sabres string. Mike Garache says Sabres stringing in some games together, but I don't think Nick Cozens is trade out. I think it's Owen Power. What's your thoughts? Oh, yeah. You said Cozens, and I said Nick Cozens, didn't I? And we're talking about Dylan Cozens. I think the Sabres will move Bowen Byram and possibly Dylan Cozens. I just think we've heard his name so much. It just makes sense. Although why they would trade him, I don't know. Like why wouldn't they trade someone else? I would try to keep Dylan Cozens for me if it's me, but yeah, Daryl, I'm familiar with your work. I know you coach the Flames. It's awesome. What's your kids' names, Daryl? Phil, it's cool, man. Like I just assume everybody in the chat isn't who they say they are anyway. So if you just take that point of view, it really doesn't matter. I enjoy the conversation. Tampa Bay picked up 2 big points against Ottawa. What do you guys think the realistic targets for them? I don't know if Tampa adds Parker. Let me get that question on the screen for everybody. Pearlo, what do you think Tampa adds? Probably something small. Yanni Gord. Bring Yanni Gord back in the fold.
I think they don't know where they're at right now. Like, man, I think they just roll. Yeah, I think they have to. They can't really give up picks. Like they're obviously getting.
I mean, they're gonna have to change. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
They don't have much in the cupboard as far as prospects are concerned or picks, and they're obviously getting older. So I think they're just trying to hope they can make the playoffs for a bit, draft really well, and build up. I can't see them going.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a clue in on the Tampa Bay Lightning and their salary cap situation, Tampa Bay has about 700,000 in cap space, I believe. So they would have to move something out. 900. They have just under $1 million in cap space, and they don't. They have dead cap. They still have dead cap on Vinny LeCavalier. It doesn't count against the cap, but they do have Connor Sherry buried. But he's the guy they could actually probably bring up too if they wanted. But they're getting some relief there. I don't know. I'm not familiar with some of their guys, but I do know they have some decent guys in their 20s that can kind of pick up the pace if they needed to. But yeah, no LTIRs or anything. So you'd have to move out a contract. And I think with Tampa, who do you want to trade? You're not obviously going to move a Hagler or Sorelli or anything like that. But, do you trade Atkinson? Has he fit in? Is that a guy you don't free up a ton of cap there if you trade him? So it'd really just be upgrading a position. I feel like Tampa is a playoff team. They're probably a top 3. If they don't get in on the top 3, they'll definitely be a wild card. No question about it. I haven't been concerned. I know they're not currently in the points as far as standings, but I think they have the team now, guys. I mean, they have the goaltending, they have the defensive depth. If they're healthy, it's going to be a big thing here. Let's see what did he say? Cozens and Byram to Toronto for Cowboy Robertson and a first. Cozens 25% retained. Yeah, I don't think so, man. I just don't think there's anybody in their right mind that would pull the trigger on that trade. Not to be rude, but it's probably not likely. Yeah, so Tampa is, with their win today, in the playoffs. It's them and Boston now, as Detroit and Columbus both fell out. That being said, though, Tampa's only played 52 games. They played the fewest games in the NHL, and they're right there with Toronto, but Toronto's playing tonight. So, and then there's a handful of people, Anaheim and Nashville and Chicago. Those teams, it's unfortunate they haven't played more games because they're not going to pick up that many more wins. I hope that answers your question about Tampa. I just wanted to talk about some news and notes real quick before we don't have that many games to preview tomorrow, but IHF is not allowing Russia and Belarus. So what does that mean? So the world champions, the world juniors, they won't have those teams. Okay. Again, you're punishing these kids that have nothing to do with any of this world stuff. They should be allowed to play the sport. This is how walls are broken down. So, yeah, no, not to be rude. With that trade, all commits. I think it's all chemical. My fitness. Anyway, AF. I'm going to call you AF. I just don't see what's the benefit of Buffalo retaining salary. Like, I could see them moving on power, but you're getting Fraser Minton and who's the guy, Easton Cowan in that trade. And I just don't want to get into a like what's going to work for a trade for an episode. So I just, if we could move on from it, but like you're just not making that deal. Nick Robertson is a good player. He's not somebody you're going to trade Owen Power and a first for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a first with Nick Robertson and they're going to retain 25% on Owen Power. No, it's not going to happen, buddy. You're going to probably have to throw in a defenseman, Nick Robertson, I'd say Fraser Minton, and if you're getting Owen Power, I think you're probably giving them Easton Cowan. But if you're Buffalo, you don't really want a Fraser Minton, Easton Cowan, or a Nick Robertson. You already have a bunch of undersized wingers. So this is just why I think it's probably not the reality in the trade for you there, buddy. Okay, we wasted enough time on that. Not that it was bad. I'm glad you asked and we talked about it. There's nothing we can't not talk about. We can go as long as we want. So no worries. I just didn't want to get too far down that rabbit hole. Yeah, okay. So Philly's still up 2-1. Toronto did tie it. So Toronto has tied it 1-1. Yeah, so we got KQ in the chat. And Ken Alicia. KQ, is that you?
KQ.
Dunk Dynasty. Guys, will Dylan Cozens get traded to Calgary? Dunk Dynasty, we have that as a possibility. That could be something they're looking at. I really love what Calgary's doing here. They're doing very much kind of what like Washington did. They traded off a few pieces. They got rid of some guys who didn't want to be there. And then they added some veterans that were kind of like da-da-da-da. But like they're getting a lot for, that Uyghur has played really, really well for them. I've heard he's in talks for Team Canada. And you just have to love what you're getting from Kadri on a night-to-night basis. But really the story is Dustin Wolf. So, yeah, I mean, if they had Dylan Cozens, that would be really interesting. And again, this is something like, why didn't the Vancouver Canucks go to the Buffalo Sabres and say, hey, give us Bowen Byram and Dylan Cozens, and we'll give you Elias Pettersson. And you do that deal, it works out great for both teams. It gives Buffalo a true first-line center, and, that you could play with Thompson. I don't understand why, they made the moves they did. So I think the Buffalo's going to get something quite good for Cozens, Scott. What do you have any ideas, Pearlo? Why don't you give your opinion?
I think if they trade Cozens, they're looking for that right D that they've been looking for a long time. So I don't think they're going to go give Cozens for picks or anything like that. They're not in that position. The reason why I think it's coming up for Cozens is Kulik is playing so well for them that they kind of have a logjam up the middle there. McLeod has showed that he can put up some points, and he's a great two-way player. McLeod is kind of what they would like Cozens to be eventually. So you kind of have two of the same player there. But that's what I think. There's going to be a right D coming for sure, and then maybe more after that, depending on the team. But I don't think they're doing it unless they get that, or they get a Beard was saying, for somebody like Pettersson. I think there would have to be a little more than that for Pettersson, but. Somebody that's a true.
I would make that deal right now. If you're Vancouver, you wouldn't make that deal. Dylan Cozens,
not me personally.
Bowen Byram.
No, but that's all right. I get it, but not me personally. No, but maybe because I'll tell you what, if Pettersson can't get back to what he was 2 years ago, I think you're absolutely right. They made the absolute wrong move. I guess I have belief in him that he can. But I'll tell you.
I want him to. I'm not rooting against him by any means. Let me make that clear to the chat.
Yeah. But I do get concerned when a guy comes out and says,
Toronto's up 2-1.
I'm up for the challenge. Cool. I got Toronto. I'm up for the challenge. And the very next game, I watched that game for Vancouver. I didn't see Pettersson up for the challenge. He didn't look like he was playing. He only got one shot, and he was barely noticeable. So All the
Yeah.
people saying that, I think it was, what's his name from, used to be a defenseman for Spittin' Chicklets. He came out and
Ryan Whitney.
Ryan Whitney came out and said flat out they traded the wrong guy. And I respect him a lot. And he probably knows more than I do about what's going on in that situation. So he might have a point. And
Dunk Dynasty says, what I have going to Buffalo is Igor Sharangovich, Jamie Poirier second, another second maybe, and Jan Kuznetsov. Okay. Yeah. I love it. If
Cozens?
you know, I think Buffalo doesn't have to get veteran players back or anything. I feel like, you know, that is a good move, man. And a lot of times these trades, we've seen examples of it all over the NHL this year. The Nick Jensen for Chychrun trade has worked out for both teams. Nick Jensen has been great for Ottawa. You can't convince me otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Chychrun's been great for the Capitals. It's been a good move. It was a great trade. Darcy Kemper's been unbelievable for the Kings. And you know what? Pierre-Luc Dubois has shown people he can play hockey. He's a borderline Selke finalist, playing really good. He's playing really good. I didn't like his game tonight, but it was just he just didn't, you know, sometimes doesn't click on the ice. So yeah.
Can I ask
anyway,
you a question, because you're a Washington fan? Do you think they can sign Chychrun?
Yeah, I think they will. I think with the cap going up now, it's like I'd be comfortable giving him $8 million. You know, like give him $8 million, 8 times 8. He's 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
John Carlson's he's done. Like he's on his last 2 legs. He'll finish his contract out and I think retire. So, by the way, Lucas Raymond 21st against the Seattle Kraken. I'll put that game on when we get some games winding down here. Flyers still up 2-1 on the Utah Hockey Club, 0-0 in the Canucks Avs game. So that's interesting. And as we said, the Flames, John Tavares, all that guy does is score goals. Willie Nylander are your 2 goal scorers, and Matt Coronado. So Willie Nylander's 31st. John Tavares, I think Willie Nylander's right there catching up for the Richard race there. And then the Jets are up 2-0 still with 8 minutes left to go against Carolina. The Jets look good, man. It doesn't look like they need to do anything. Oilers did get a tying goal. They just scored Leon Draisaitl, his 37th. So it's just as I had to say, Willie's trying to catch Leon. Leon scores another one. So no, we're not going to have Rico tonight, Andrew. Sorry. As a Philly sports fan 25, as a Flyers, what could we get for Lawton? I think they don't want to trade Lawton. From what I've been told from good sources that are in that office, Danny Briere was offering, like, he wanted like 2 firsts and something for Lawton. And I just think that's going to be too hard for somebody to pay. And, you know, there's not somebody that's a Scott Lawton away from winning the Stanley Cup. I think that's the problem. So I think there needs to be a market for it, but I also think they love Lawton. He's a great locker room guy, and he's just a guy I think they put such a high price on him because they were like, well, yeah, we'll entertain it, but we don't want to trade him. Flames scored.
Yeah,
it's a 2-man advantage.
2-man advantage, yeah.
2-man advantage. Uyghur back to Kadri. Uyghur from the point. Mackenzie Uyghur is your goal scorer. Oh, Seattle got a score too. Matty Beniers is 12th. Big Willie style all over it. Okay. All right. So yeah, we still got a bunch of games going on. Like I said, most of the games have got some scoring going. Colorado and the Canucks are on their first intermission, but the Canucks will start the period with a power play. So that's rare. I'm not sure what you're asking there, Dunk Dynasty, but Jets are the Leafs of the West, can't perform in the playoffs. Oh, okay. I got you.
I think you're going to see something different.
You don't have to spam it in. You can just type it in once. It actually makes it harder for me to read it when you do that. So just type it once. I'll go back. I can scroll it up or I can pop it on the screen. So I don't need you to put it in more than once. That's why we ask you not to spam, because then we just miss other people's comments. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I'm sure a lot of people would love to have him. I like what Doug McLean said. I think Sean Corrali, if they can get Sean Corrali out of Columbus. Columbus is selling if like they realize they're not going to make it. But I like him. I think he wouldn't cost much, and it would be a nice ad for Toronto. I think that if they get that third line center, man, that might be. I think they got to figure out too what's going on with Morgan Rielly, because they're not getting the defensive. They're not getting what they need from him. So Ken, what are you laughing about? What's funny, Ken? Okay. Are you picking up audio? Are you picking up a little audio?
I got nothing around me at all. I don't even know the game's on right now.
No, it was me. No, I didn't think it was you, Pearlo. I thought it was me. I just couldn't figure out which one I had audio on.
You were asking if I could hear audio from your side?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Was there a little bit of an echo? Okay, we got rid of it. Hot take. I figured it out. 7.5 million third pair defenseman Rielly. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just feel like John's not here every night. Daryl Sutter on NHL Nightly. I'm your host. You get Pearlo, me, Rico, and the Degenerate Bostonian. Tonight it's just me and Pearlo. So John will be with us from time to time. He's gracious enough to come on the show, but the point is we're live 5 days a week on this channel. You can conversate. We're going to review the games, talk about the next ones. Pearlo, I think let's just get into, we've already been live almost 27 minutes. Wednesday's 3 games. Bruins Rangers kick it off here in the States. It's TNT Max game of the week. Bruins Rangers. Bruins coming off a nice win tonight, 3-0. Who do you like? Bruins are road dogs, by the way.
Yeah, the Bruins just aren't the same with Corpy in the net right now. I don't know. They don't seem to play well with them. I'm not really big on the price with the Rangers, but I got to take the Rangers here.
Okay. Yeah, the Rangers are the favorite. Do you like the over under 5.5 or?
I'd lean over.
Okay.
I'd lean over. Yeah.
All right. He'll lean over. Okay. Well, the next game, Chicago gets the Edmonton Oilers on a back-to-back in Chicago at the United Center. They are a plus 215 home dog. The over-under, and that is 6.5. Oh, Jets scored again, it looks like. Jets scored live. Cole Perfetti looks like.
I needed that.
I think the Jets Yep, the Jets have scored.
Right on.
Yep, the Jets have scored 3-0. They're reviewing the goal. 6 minutes left to go. They're reviewing it.
Oh, jeez, I hope that doesn't come back. This is one of those games where you just kind of throw a little pizza money on Chicago and see if it sticks.
Right. Because, yeah. By the way, share the stream, leave a like, subscribe. We appreciate you. Canadians Kings, final game of the night. Just 3 games tomorrow, which is always fun. Oh, I got the boys in here checking in up on me. Canadians plus 205 road dogs. They have really fallen from grace. How are you feeling here? Over under is 5.5. How are you feeling about this game, Pearlo?
Well, I thought they'd beat San Jose, but I didn't think they would. I think they're going to be in tough there against LA. I'm going to take LA minus 1.5.
Yeah, it looks like LA found their goal scoring back too, and they won their last game. They put a little bit of the end of the skid. It was only a matter of time. It just happens to teams.
I think Montreal just beat them last time they played, if I remember correctly, too. So it's a bit of a revenge spot to get back at them for that. And
yeah,
I think it could be.
The Kings were going through it a little bit there. Well, that's the games for tomorrow. So if you are wanting to gamble or you want to look at those, go back to about the 27-minute mark of the show. That Pearlo give you his picks. Not a ton. Okay, we talked a little bit about the IHF. We're going to move on that. That does not include the IOC. The IOC, they still have allowed Russian athletes. So Russia will have an Olympic team. It'll just be the Russian unincorporated athletes of Russia or whatever. Yeah. So they'll have a hockey team for the Olympics. So and that's 2026. And then I had the video of Crosby getting hurt. We can play that for you. Just let me get that. Yeah, right here from BR. Here.
New Jersey here in the third.
Oh, no. I don't want sound. Let's see if this works. Apologize about the delay. Okay, here we go. And you'll see the move here. This is here, let me play it again. This is a collision here. This is per Sportsnet's Pittsburgh here. And then he gets a little on the shoulder there. So that's and he left the game, but he did come back. So your bro is killing it in Calgary. Who's your bro, Big Willie? Who's your bro? I don't know who your bro is. Overtime, Edmonton, St. Louis, 2-2. So if you had oh wow. Oh, is St. Louis on the power play? No. They just got to the puck. Yeah, so St. Louis has the puck in overtime. Kyrou takes it back out. If you want a little play-by-play overtime action real quick, he drops it off to Thomas. Thomas escapes back. He chips it over to Kyrou. Kyrou back over. Shot. Oh, saved by Skinner. 3 minutes, 24 seconds left. We'll have a face-off. Looks like Broberg had a chance to end it. It is 2-2 Calgary. Sorry. I didn't see who scored that second goal for the Flames.
There's that Crosby hit.
Ooh.
All coming in. Just me.
No, thank you. Appreciate you. Sorry about that. I did. Yeah. Oh, no goal. No goal in the Winnipeg, Carolina. It's still 2-0.
No.
They waved it off. Yeah, there's still 6 minutes left, though.
Oh, yeah, good. Get it in the empty net or something.
Oh, I don't understand why this is no goal. Well, that's odd. Okay. This should be a goal. I don't understand how this isn't a goal. He shovels it. Oh, okay. I'll try to find that video for you guys.
We were talking about it, Sharon Govich. Talking about him. He's the one that scored the one for Calgary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We might be in the trade. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. But again, Sharon Govich is a guy that would intrigue me if I'm Buffalo for sure. So no score in hold on, here goes McDavid. Yeah, McDavid off to I think Connor Brown. Connor Brown just scored in overtime. That is your game. Yeah, McDavid just did his little I'm gonna move fast and then slide over and pass. So yeah, Ken, we were talking a lot about him tonight. I think Dylan Cozens is one of those guys, man. I think teams feel like now they know the cap. Teams are about to take a little bit of a risk. I think they could get Buffalo. I think you can have them retained by year, right? You can just have them retain for the rest of this year. So then if you had to work it out in your cap, I think they can do that, correct?
No, I thought so too, but no, they can't. If you got to retain, you got to retain the whole contract. I thought that too at one time, but
okay.
I would correct it. So.
Yeah, and this might have been something we looked up in the past too. McDavid hit the turbo button. Game over there. 3-2 in overtime. But if you're St. Louis, you get a point against a really good team. That's not the worst thing in the world, even though you're at home. Like Edmonton's been kind of creme de la creme as of late anyway. So the Toronto Maple Leafs are on the power play, by the way, with 10 minutes left to go in that game. There was a non-call. Darkness, I won't put your comment on the screen, but there was a non-call in the game there. Yeah. Oh, in favor of Edmonton? Oh, I'm so surprised, Darkness. It should have been a power play for the Blues in OT. That was a blatant missed hold. Okay. I believe you, Darkness. So the floodgates will open now. Yeah, I do. I think we're going to see a bunch more trades here too. And we didn't really get an answer out of Frank yesterday as far as like our GM's going to treat the four nations. Like, I think that there are going to be players that get traded during the Four Nations break. I just think that it's going to be more than people expected it to be, because these GMs are going to have nothing to do but go back and comb over all the film they have and make decisions on what's best for their I think you basically hitting pause on the season for these GMs to figure out, oh, who's got what and who's got someone that could help us now. And could that person make a difference? Because there really is not a huge gap between all the teams, the good ones and the bad ones, and I think that there's a lot of people that feel like this is a Stanley Cup year, or like who's going to win? There's no clear favorite. Does Edmonton look like they're capable? I mean, I guess, I still don't like their D. I still don't like their goaltending. They've played good though, but they don't have the numbers they had last year. I mean, again, I think if they just kept the players they had, they'd just be dominating this year. They'd be running away with this season. We'd all be like, well, congratulations to Connor McDavid, and he's going to get the job done this year. So, but they made some moves. So I don't think the USA will lose a single game in that tournament. All right, Phil. Yeah, I don't know, man. I hope as a fan of the US that I would love to see that for sure. But who knows, man? Canada might win them all too. You could see it going. You could go to Finland or Sweden too. I mean, I feel like the Finns and the Swedes have had a little bit more of a problem. Kind of fielding because they have to play in the National Hockey League. I think that's kind of a dumb rule. I think they should allow players that are playing overseas to play on those teams. You know what I'm saying? Because they could get some good players. There are good players that could help out Finland and Sweden that play in the Swedish Elite League. So anyway. All right. So we previewed yesterday's games. Was there any topics you wanted to talk about?
I was gonna ask and kind of, do you think the Islanders, regardless, like let's say they're like just a couple points out of do you think regardless they're going to trade the guys we believe, Nelson and guys like that?
No, I don't think. I think after hearing Arthur Staple on Morning Cup of Hockey Monday, I think that if Lou Lamoriello trades anybody, it will be at the last possible second when it looks like they have no chance of making the playoff. But the problem is, when is that? Because we're going to get back from the Four Nations, and then the trade deadline is on us. What is it? March 17th?
Yeah.
I think, when is the NHL trade deadline? 2025. March 7th. So no, it's even going to be quicker. There's going to be like 2 weeks, and it's the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So this is another reason why I believe players will be moved during the Four Nations face-off. And, we're going to see some stuff. McCann scored, goal 3-2 for the Leafs, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I got McCann. Good.
Pearlo, was there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't discuss in the news? Any hockey stuff?
Well, that was that Islanders, whether the Islanders were going to do anything or not. So as far as the trades are concerned, you can trade, but you can't trade anybody that's in the tournament, obviously, right? That's the way.
No, I think you can. I think you can. I don't think there's any restrictions.
As well.
Yeah, well, Brock Nelson will be in the tournament, so.
Oh yeah, right, he will be. So that will be interesting. That'll keep us hopping if we get a bunch of trades going on during that time.
Well, but I mean, we only have a week. So is he going to wait till the end of this week? I just don't know. Like, if the Islanders win 4 or 5 in a row, they're in this. They have better points right now than the Rangers do. They statistically have a better chance of making it. I saw Rangers have a 35% chance. I hate to tell you, Rangers fans, I don't think you're going to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's an uphill battle. You went on too bad of a loss streak there. So
I think even the Miller trade was more looking towards next year than anything. But how about the Rangers? They're going to still add a little more, like something that'll help.
Yeah, I mean, they can, right? They have room. They moved out so much money, just they traded Trouba. They got instantaneous like $9 million in cap space. They took back Vakanainen, I think, made like $900,000. So, Will Borgen's working out. Well, that's another example of a trade. Kakko is playing well for this Kraken, and Borgen is working out good for the, and honestly, the Kraken need to be selling. Like they need to be looking at, we need to be a top 5 lottery team right now. We need to add talent to our pool, and we need to just commit to being bad for 2 or 3 years. Who cares if the NBA is coming? It ain't coming before 2 or 3 years anyway. So yeah, JT Miller, 4 points in 2 games. Pretty crazy. So I don't think the Lightning are going to miss the playoffs, Tate Hockey. I think that, I think the Rangers and Bruins have a better chance of missing it, but I think the Lightning are in. The Lightning are in. The Bruins are both in playoff spots right now after their wins tonight. So, yeah, I feel for you, Daryl Sutter. Vancouver is kind of a toxic place. I feel bad. I feel bad for their fans. They had such a magical year last year. So, if you don't have anything else, Pearlo, I was going to call it an early night because we only had 3 games. We're going to be back tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern. Guys, we got guests coming. Stephen Ellis sometime next week, we're hoping. Oh, Jeremiah, who's the player everyone will be targeting at the trade deadline? Oh, Ken, I thought we answered that question already for you. Did we not?
I think we did.
Yeah, Dylan Cozens is the guy I think that's going to be the guy. So, Detroit's about to go on the power play. It is 3-0 final. Winnipeg Jets, Carolina Hurricanes. Winnipeg does get a goal. Did I bury the lead there for you, Pearlo?
I needed to go over, so I was very happy.
Nino Niedermeyer, Niederreiter, Neon Pionk, and Rasmus Kupari are your goal scorers. Kupari got the goal with, I guess he just scored a regular goal, like a regular goal on goalie goal with 3 minutes to go. Okay. So we missed it. So 50 live in the chat. Please leave a like. Please leave a subscribe. Detroit just scored on the power play. It's 2-1. We're getting all the scores live and in color. We're about to call it a night. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern. Vancouver, Colorado, first period about to end 0-0. That game is live. 2-1. Seattle is down a goal just scored by the Detroit Red Wings. Moritz Seider on the power play goal. Flames and Leafs are a barn burner. 6 minutes left to go in the second. We gave you our picks again, 27-minute mark. Check them out. That's from Pearlo, our great handicapper. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Hot Take Hockey's YouTube or the Sports Beard on Twitter, on Twitch, and obviously on Instagram. I appreciate the people that popped into Instagram tonight. Usually we got 1 or 2 that do that, so we try to give you that option. Appreciate everybody. Have a great night. We loved having you guys. We're going to be doing this every day of the week, so you can catch up on all the stuff you missed, and we'll try to get a little bit of video and fun stuff in there for you. And every once in a while, a guest or two, like Frank Saravelli yesterday was wild. We had over 2,000 in the chat between all the platforms. So really want to thank everybody for showing up for that. Oh, I got an alibi. Twisted Wrister, our friend Twisted Wrister. Real quick, our friend Twisted Wrister is doing a drive for his dog, Cortana. And I think Twisted Wrister has come on some hard times, guys. So he's selling his jerseys to help pay for his dog's surgery. I donated some money to him tonight. You don't have to, guys. You're not required to do that. If you guys are interested in, let me see if I could zoom that in there. There we go. This is just some of the stuff. If you're interested in what he's got, Canadians, Flames, Islanders, Jets, Maple Leafs, Sabres, San Francisco Bulls, Seattle Thunderbirds, Stockton Thunder. Most of them are medium size. He's got some bigger ones, but all of them are pretty reasonably priced. I don't think he had anything over $240. Just selling out his old jerseys. And then whatever the shipping and handling is, he said he would negotiate. You can email him at twistedwristermister@gmail.com if you are interested in buying any of these jerseys. So, here, let me go out just a little bit so you can see, so he has some blanks, Tim Connolly, Tavares, bunch of Tavareses, McDavid, Lemieux, McDonough, Hasek. So some cool ones, man. Some cool ones. So anyway, if you guys like that guy, if you know him, help him out. You can also go on the Flying Fluffy stream tonight. They did a drive for him. He opened the drive. So if you go to the very beginning of the video, he'll give you his Cash App. I donated to his Cash App or whatever, just to help him out. I think he's already raised $4,500. He's trying to get to $6,000 to help his dog get a knee replacement surgery. So his dog Cortana. So anyway, just trying to help where we can. This community, we try to stay tight knit. We'll try to have him on. He's a diehard Sharks fan, so we could bring him on and you guys can talk a little bit of Sharks hockey. They've had a lot to celebrate this year. Mike Creer's done a masterful job. So also Emerald City Hockey guy is going to work on getting them on. And RJ Eskinos, who covers them and, you know, they go to the games. He grew up in San Jose, so we'll get his opinion on the Sharks too, because I want to see how he feels, because I think there's a lot of panicking going on in Seattle. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's happening with them guys. Pearlo, you got anything before we leave?
Yeah, just going back to the Seattle situation. Those are the players I see being traded in the Four Nations. All of those guys. Yeah, Bjorkstrand.
Sure. And you know what? Alexiak's name came up. You know, Hot Take Hockey had that. Frank has him on the list. Like, he only has another year left on this deal. It looks like, you know, they could get it to. Speaking of Macklin Celebrini, he just scored a goal for the San Jose Sharks. So
sweet.
Get out there and watch. Get out there and watch. Yes, Ovi got a goal. He's 17 away from Gretz. Let's go. Let's get that record beat this year. The Doubters. And then, you know, of course, win the Stanley Cup, Caps. Let's go. All right. Lots of great games still on. So definitely give those a watch or a listen to. We appreciate you. Like we said, we'll be back here tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait. I think we're going to start doing Wednesday live streams after the Four Nation. After we come back, we'll do like a game of the week where I'll stream a little bit of play-by-play on Hot Take Hockey's channel. And if Pearlo wants to come on and talk a little bit and watch the game with me and provide some stuff, we'll maybe do that. I'll see if he's up for it. So we'll let you know as we go. We'll just have to work that out with Hot Take Hockey in the future. But kind of like old school John, like leave some donos, like, subscribe. Hey, we're going to talk a little bit, but I'll call the game. You know, they'll try to give you the best play-by-play I can. So again, guys, really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. We had over 60 in the chat at a time, about 50-50 across the board between X and YouTube. So I really appreciate you guys. You guys have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow. And just remember, this show is made by Puckheads for Puckheads. That is right. Talk to you later. Rick Smith.